Hello everybody and welcome back to the Retro Recall. I hope you're doing awesome. Today we have a really cool system to show you from 1994. This computer was, again, graciously donated to the channel. This computer was built in 1994 based on the date codes that I was able to locate inside the computer. Now, what was given to me was literally the tower, and the individual I received it from indicated that they had purchased it for their business and that they didn't use it as much as they thought they would. And so literally insides of this machine are stellar. No dust on anything that I could find. It's just crazy awesome. And then it came with all the natural software. I mean, as you can see, the big stack of software over here. I mean, we're talking Encarta, Microsoft Golf, NHL 98, Microsoft 95, Windows 95, Microsoft Works and Money, Dangerous Creatures for Microsoft. I imagine that's kind of theme packs. Microsoft Windows 95 starts here, how and why, and a whole bunch of other sealed software that we're going to review later. So also came with this pretty awesome 10 Cyberscape CD portfolio, 1997 Reuther Multimedia Encyclopedia, and then all the different pieces of software. So it would have been the ultimate CD tiles would have been just a bunch of software that came out at the time. So when you got a system like this, you could actually use the computer for different things. Get started. Back then in 94, 95, the internet was really starting to kick off. And when you have something like that, you're allowed, you had local software installed in your system and a whole bunch of things to use. So yeah, so it came with the tower, it came with the software. This keyboard is it's DIN 5, it's an AT style keyboard, and it's very, very, very hefty. It's all metal backing on it. It's made by Acer, actually. Yeah, so it's just a very, very nice typing clicky keyboard, which is really nice. And the monitor, which you may have seen in a couple other videos I've done, but this is a Panasonic Pro P15. It's just a 15-inch monitor, nothing too fancy. Works very well. As you can see, very little to no discoloration on the monitor at all. There is some on the front of the case, none on the metal, of course. And I plan on retrobrighting this in a future video, because I'd like to get this computer looking very fresh. Again, the inside is stellar. The monitor is just absolutely amazing. Even the speakers that came with it, Zoltrex sound. I've never heard of these speakers before. But they're all hooked up using RCA cables versus your standard smaller connections. So, and then the mouse itself, the one that came with the computer that I have here is a Radio Shack mouse, just a regular ball mouse that came with this computer when I received it. Nothing like related to the actual system, and this was not the original mouse, I was told. And then also one of those microphone stand microphones for your computer, when you wanted to do audio recording on your computer, or if you were lucky enough to have one of those voice modems that I have, the 56K voice modems and things like that you would talk through like a voicemail and all that. So again, just that you'd use that. And so that is the computer in general, what I received. I mean, nothing fancy just yet. And I'm going to fire it on. I'm going to show you what it's doing, because today's video is more of an introductory video to this series to show you what the system is, what the challenge with this system is, and what we're going to be doing next in the series in terms of getting this computer up and running, because I have yet to see what's on this computer just because of the challenge. So let's go ahead and turn it on here and see what comes up on the screen. Couple beeps there. Okay, we have our video coming up here. And we have 16 megabytes of RAM in the computer. We have an American Megatrends AMI BIOS, dated 1996 is the date code, so the BIOS has been updated on the system. It's coming up and indicating that CMOS battery is low, CMOS display type is wrong, run setup F1 to resume. So, naturally, in some systems I've received, or systems I've worked on over the years, you press the F1 and you go in and you can bypass this and configure, but we'll see what happens here. So let's hit F1. So here we are. We actually have the graphical version of the BIOS itself. Let me just see if I can adjust this a little bit, just to yeah, let's see if I can do that. No, so the refresh rate in this particular form factor I'm not able to fix for you, but I apologize for that. Okay, so we have ignore the blinky lines. It won't be for all of my videos. So so here we have the graphical interface. So you can actually use your mouse to go in and configure the BIOS versus going in and using a keyboard commands and things like that. So in here, we under standard, we open that up and we have our primary master hard disk, and it says auto. It's just set to auto because, well, this configuration allows that. On the 386, as you saw in my other video, we actually had to go in and enter the configuration just because of the age of the CMOS of the configuration. So then we have our slave configuration that would be for your IDE connectivity. I just noticed the little tail going back and forth on the mouse. So we have our secondary master, our secondary slave, date and time. So again, we can go in here, we can adjust our date and time. It's not January 1st, 1996, that is for sure. But even if we go in here and set the date and time, it's not, you'll see what happens here. So under advanced, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different configurations, the boot sequences that we want to do. Again, I mean, it's just the computer's telling you the battery is low, it's not keeping the date, go into the setup, go in and configure your settings, and then save everything that you have here, and then go ahead and restart it. But that's the challenge, as you'll see in a moment. So an utility color set. So in here it's pretty cool. You can go in and change the different colors of the actual BIOS. It's pretty cool that they came out with this particular setup. I always just kept it on this when I've experienced this, but again, just really cool. And then you have different settings, the default settings. You can load preset settings into all the configuration, whether it was the chipset, the peripheral, your plug and play bus, things like that. So I'm just gonna leave it as is. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just exit out of here, just because to show everyone what's doing. So it says save changes and exit, because I didn't make any changes, but I'll go ahead and save. Now I expect it to boot because I'm just bypassing it like we would another computer, another system, and it's going ahead and restarting now. Comes up with the S3 Trio video card BIOS. Comes up 16 megs of RAM, seen battery low, run setup. That's it. There's nothing else here on this system that we can get past here. This particular computer will not allow you to get past the BIOS without setting the clock battery and setting the settings and it detecting a proper battery level to be able to save those settings. Now, this particular system that I alluded to earlier that we're going to go ahead and configure and get all set up and get it all fixed up for the series is actually one of these beautiful Dallas real-time clocks. That's right. So these particular clocks, clock batteries, have the BIOS. The BIOS is actually all the configuration that you saw in here earlier is all set up within this and configured, but also there's a battery inside that's actually molded into the actual plastic of the chip. So it's a heck of a time to get into this chip to be able to replace the battery or do any sort of configuration or something like that to the changes. So there's a couple of different ways and a couple of different things you can do. These particular ones are replacement ones that I ordered, but unfortunately, like I said, when the seller shipped them to me, the date code on these are 1996. I mean, the batteries that are in these are dead, no different than what's already plugged into the system. And you can order new ones. There's new clock batteries available, a third-party manufacturer making them and partnering to get these set up for you, where you can actually just order them as like this and pop them in the system, and you're good to go. Now, I had another system similar to this that I've already done that with. That I had a similar problem with, and there's a modification you can actually make to this where you expose the two pins that are here for the actual battery. You break the connector to the battery that's molded in there. You solder on two legs, similar to our 386 video where we soldered on two legs onto the actual mount for the CR232, I believe, chip, battery, and that particular battery holder. So it goes on there, and then there's different things you can do. You can hot glue that on there. You can just put it on the side. Again, just 2 leads, and it works perfectly fine. And then all of a sudden now you have a replaceable battery, which is what our goal of this system is going to be, because that's the challenge. Now, to add additional challenges to this is that this system with this particular replacement or Dallas real-time clock is soldered onto the motherboard. I got lucky on the other system I worked on, and it was socketed. So I literally just popped one out, popped one in, my modification, my replacement, and there's no problem. So to add insult to injury to everything, we actually have to go ahead and desolder it from the motherboard. And I mean, it's not a big deal. So what I'm going to do actually is, not only am I going to desolder it, but I'm also going to use a socket. So what we're going to do is take one of these sockets. We're going to, after the Dallas real-time clock has been removed from the board, put the socket in the board, and then we can easily remove and replace the socket, the chipset into the socket, no problem, even with my mod and everything. So, and if I ever end up passing the system on to someone else, they'll have a much easier ability to go ahead and replace it. So that's what we want to do for this particular series. So that said, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and clean up the bench here, get this all sorted out, and we're going to do a tour of the inside of the tower itself. Okay, so we're here with the tower, the bench all cleaned up, and yeah, just let's just open it right up and see what this computer has in store with us for us. So I'm going to turn it around. As you can see, the back of the actual system, extremely clean. This computer is just I mean, I've done no cleaning to this computer at all, and it's just crazy to look at and see all the cleaning, or how clean the system is. Even the modem itself still has that protective film on the actual bracket. It's just absolutely crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and just open up the tower itself, and we'll open up the case. Now, because of the age of the computer and the style of the computer being an AT case, it actually has 4 screws in the back here, but slides off as one whole unit, similar to that 386 system we had. And if you haven't seen that video, please take a look at it, and I'll take it at the end of this video as well. So here we go. We have the 4 screws removed from the system, and we're just going to slide it off. But I mean, it's fairly simple. You saw the 2 bottoms kind of flap out there. I'm just going to pull it out. There we are, and slide it off. Okay, so here we are. We have this the system all set up, and the CD-ROM drive. There's no, I'm not seeing NEC Corporation. So NEC is the brand name of the CD-ROM drive itself, and it's showing that it is on the front an 8-speed CD-ROM drive. The power supply is a Sparkle Power International. I imagine original to this case, and it is showing. I'm just trying to see if I can get the wattage. So it's showing 200 watt power supply. That's in this system. And again, for today's video, all we're doing is going to be doing a review or overview of this. Sorry. So just to see what's in the computer and all that good stuff. So let's see if we can get you guys in here a little closer to see the inside of the computer there. And yeah, so we'll go from there. So here we are. Probably a better angle for everyone to see. So I'm just going to turn it around so it's more oriented towards what we're trying to look at here. So yeah, so we have our tower. So here's our hard drive. I, to this day, still have no idea what size hard drive this is. I'm waiting for a mystery miracle when we get this all kind of taken all apart in pieces, get it all ready for fixing the system to boot again. But yeah, I'm leaving it as a mystery. So hey, you want to take a guess at what size hard drive is relevant or what this looks like? Leave a comment below and let me know what you think what this hard drive capacity might be. But you can see everything is just absolutely clean, to the point where the rubber bands that were in here have now disintegrated. Like literally, that's a piece on my finger there a piece of rubber band, and they've just absolutely disintegrated in the system, because I didn't know what it was at first, but there's absolutely zero dust in the system when I got it. It was just absolutely crazy. And you know, the lady just said, no, I'd rather see it go instead of it going to a dump. So very, very happy to take it off her hand. So over here, we have our floppy drive, which is, I mean, in the front, I mean, pretty self-explanatory, 1.44 megabyte hard drive, or floppy drive, sorry. We have our video card, was an S3 video card, only because two things. One, when I first got the system, it wouldn't turn on at all. And it gave me the error codes, which indicated it was a video card problem. So this video card has expandable memory, which has been expanded. I believe it's to 2 megabytes. And so I ended up having to remove one of the memory chips. I narrowed it down to one of the memory chips on the card, and I used deoxit on it and got it fire up. So that's why I know what that card is. Now, in terms of sound, we have an FX16 sound card. It's not showing any, I don't believe it's showing a brand on it, but again, mystery, right? Because we're gonna, I mean, imagine it's Sound Blaster compatible, but we're gonna take it apart in the next video, in part of the series, and really dig in and just look at the chipset, look at what's on there, and go from there. Now, this modem is, I mean, it comes with the fax modem that's installed on here, and I don't know if it's a 33.6 modem or a 56K modem. But I do know it's US Robotics, only because the software that came with this modem is US Robotics Connections CD-ROM drive. So that's the only reason, or sorry, CD. That's why I know it's what it is, US Robotics. So that's the only reason I know that. The motherboard itself is an AOpen motherboard, and I'm just looking for the model of this motherboard. It's an AP5VM. Revision 2.3. So I'm going to look that up just to have some resources. And I use the retroweb.com for all these motherboard configurations, where our community goes on and uploads a bunch of different motherboard configurations, pictures, etc., just to preserve some of the configurations and what have you, so to make these future videos easier to do. So it is a socket 7 chip. Pentium is my guess of what's in here. I didn't get to see what was in the BIOS. Didn't show any sort of indication of what the CPU was that I could see. So again, I don't know what that is yet, but that's fine. And then the RAM, which is in behind here, back here, that's 16 megabytes of RAM, which we knew because it did do a memory check prior to giving us the error. So our dreaded, I'll zoom in here. Our dreaded CMOS real-time Dallas chip right here. So that particular chip, as innocent as it looks, is what's causing the problem right now. So this particular board is designed that it will not go ahead and boot or let you do anything unless that's been fixed. So we're going to have to do that together. But that's the chip that needs to be replaced. But of course, there's no socket there whatsoever. It's completely soldered onto the motherboard. So we're going to have to go in and take everything out of this system, motherboard included. We'll do that together in the next video, and essentially remove that chip from the motherboard. So that is the the beautiful system, Pentium mystery system for all the configurations. Still don't know what it is, because again, I have not taken anything apart just yet, and I have only seen what you have seen on the video in terms of what has been what came up in the actual BIOS. So next video, we're going to go ahead and take the system apart and go over the actual parts, similar to what we did in the 386 video, just so everybody gets an idea of what's in the system. And then we're going to look at desoldering the real-time clock that that's on this board, because we want to get rid of that. And you know, I am going to work with that particular one just because it came with this board to do the modification on. So the next video we will work on not only desoldering, but we'll actually modify the Dallas chip, as I indicated, exposing the two pins on there where the battery was. We'll actually punch through one of the leads, and yeah, we'll be all prepared to hook up a coin cell to this system. So that'll be our next video. But I hope you've enjoyed this initial orientation of the next project that we're going to work on together. pretty awesome that viewers that are seeing these have offered this equipment, which is just absolutely amazing and appreciative. It allows me to be able to take things like this. I'm always looking at thrift stores. I'm always looking online. I'm always getting systems, but it's always great to, when you get things like this, to explore them, especially in such great, awesome condition. I can't say enough about the system, how clean it is, and full, like it complete with the monitor, the keyboard, the mouse, the software that came with it, and it's just absolutely great. So again, thanks to viewers like you and the support that you're giving. It's absolutely appreciated. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. If you have any comments, again, or you want to guess the hard drive capacity that's in this, it'd be really cool to see some guesses. Please put it in the comments below. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and hit the notification button so you can be notified when there's new content from me, such as this video today. And again, thanks again for watching. Really appreciate everyone taking the time. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.